So here's what my thought was when I was like about to sit down to record this, right? I felt like how I should start this podcast was tag team back again.
That would fit your whole 99 in the 2000s.
Right. Party up, party down with my psychic friend.
There it is.
I felt like that was appropriate, you know?
Okay.
And I was just like, just the fact I thought about that, I was like, that's like a
sign.
sign.
Shaking songs back in the day.
Right.
The dance floor.
Dude, legit. Like I heard it was just like that's appropriate. That is accurate.
You think we're smoking weed anyway?
Right. Like, dude.
Message, they were like, were y'all hitting something? I was like, no.
Oh my God, someone said that.
Yes.
It's like, this is how we act in real life. Damn it.
Like, no, that's just how we are together.
That's really how we are.
Like, well, I could have sworn you guys were hitting something. I was like, you know.
Dude, I had friends who like don't even like listen to my channel like that, right? That heard the podcast and they were just like, I would just listen to y'all because y'all are just hilarious.
like, are you guys sure you're not? Huh?
Right? It's like, I don't relate to any of this, but it's like, it's like, I have no idea what it's like dating as a psychic. I have no idea what that's like. But it's like,
it's funny.
Right? And they're like, just because like, they're like, you two just sounded like y'all were having a blast. And I'm like, we were.
We were.
Oh my gosh. Like life is supposed to be like a freaking blast.
Yes.
Girl, I don't know if this is because it's like eclipse week or if like spirit is mad at us or like what.
Dude, I can't have the madness.
Right?
I can't have the spirit mad. Look. I'm what? Man, I ain't never been dragged so hard in my life.
Look, I'm trying to tell you. Like, it's so much so that I said, because, you know, there's like exclusive content that's on the network, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like my weeklies, I don't ever post those publicly. Like, I don't put them on Vimeo. They're not on Patreon. They're not on YouTube, like none of that, right? Because that's something just for the network people. But if ever I post something that's just for the network, I always ask for permission from the members because I feel like it's just as much their content as it's mine. And after one of my sessions today, and I realized like, oh my gosh, because I don't know, it's this weird thing like where everyone who books with me in a particular day or a particular week, it's like all of these people are on the same vibrational frequency, where it's like everybody has the same like challenge that particular week. And after one of my clients today, it was my last client of the day. And I was like thinking, I said, dang, I was like, her whole session was like the weekly. And I was like, do I need to post the weekly on YouTube? Which is a crazy thing for me to do because I never, ever do that. Like because it's like when I'm doing the weekly, I'm specifically focusing on the energy of everyone who's on the network. Like I'm not trying to pick up YouTube people, Patreon people, like nobody. Right. And I don't know, talking to her, I just kind of realized like, you know what, dude, like I think I need to post this, but I always ask for permission first. So I was like, I need to go like into the chat and be like, hey, how do you guys feel about me posting this publicly? Because like, I don't know, dude, with this eclipse being on Saturday, it's like, I'm seeing how serious that is. And it's like everyone I've talked to, like not even clients, like friends, family members, like everybody's in the same kind of headspace where I'm just like, oh. Like, this is the thing.
Call it an eclipse edition. So people expect it ongoing, but like you could be like a special, like a whole breaking news special, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Look, watch me go do a stand up. Like, I'll give you a little fake microphone and be like, hey guys, Marlowe Valcourt here, reporting live for Tarot Therapy.
I'm just saying. Get people.
But dude, it's legit. Like this eclipse energy, dude, like, first of all, the realization I had today, and I just love how we're doing the same thing that we did last week. Let's just go ahead and do the intro now. Tag team back again. Party up. Okay, sorry. I'm Marlowe.
I'm Mimi.
And this is the Marlowe MiMi podcast episode 2.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú? So guys, we're recording this. What is the date? It's Tuesday, 26th. April 26th. And the eclipse is literally on Saturday. It's a solar eclipse in Taurus. This is like, And this may shock a lot of people because we're not, Libras, but I mean, we do share Venus, but whatever.
I'm a rising, if that matters.
It does matter, dude, because this is a relational eclipse. And like when it's
because mine suck right now.
Oh my God, welcome to my life. Like when I found out that this was like a, relational, related kind of eclipse, I laughed hysterically and I was like, that's not a problem I have right now. Like that ain't nothing getting eclipsed out my life. Right? Like, because it's like I'm single as a Pringle, you hear me? So I was like, okay, that doesn't relate. But then Seren the Healer, damn you, Seren the Healer. Seren the Healer is just like, well, like relationships doesn't have to just be like romantic. And I was like, stop using my words against me. You stop it. You stop it right now. And I was like, okay, that's true. And this weekly reading that I did, the whole premise of this is us starting this week. So those of you who are listening, you guys are going to listen to this on Friday, right? And this is Tuesday. I did the weekly reading, and it's called the Pretty Mystic Weekly because I call all of my highest tier members Pretty Mystics because we're pretty and we're mystics. And it's like, I recorded this on Sunday. So it's like coming into the week in this stagnated kind of energy where you feel like you need to do something, but you don't know what you need to do type of deal. And all of that's leading up to the eclipse. And I think this is so funny because we already said last episode this is going to happen because, mind you, this is not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is like, when do you tell a guy that you have gifts? And I think it's hilarious that I'm telling all of you, especially if this is your first time listening, that I have gifts right now. Accidentally. Surprise. And we already knew this was going to happen. Like, we're going to be fucking channeling on his bitch. Like, that's what we're going to be doing. But I feel like I have to say this because, like, I don't care when anyone listens to this, right? You can listen to it when it first comes out. You can listen to it like, a month later. It doesn't matter. But I just feel like this message is important for me to share. And we're going to get into the main content of why it is that we're here. But the whole premise of the message that I got for this week is everybody is coming into this particular week feeling like you want to move forward, but you don't know how. So it's kind of like a contradictory vibe. So it's like everything in you is saying like, run, go, move. But you're like, bitch, where?
I can't.
Right? It's like, I can't right now. Like, I don't know where to go. Like, like I need this job, bitch. Like, I like my good government job. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that kind of vibe. But it's like the whole premise of this week, which is really creepy because going into like with the Taurus, like soul session for Tauruses, sun, moon, rising, Venus, whatever the fuck you have Taurus in your chart in, as well as, the collective, because, our North Node is in Taurus right now. So it applies to everyone. And especially with the entire collective, whatever season we're in, that sign is going to affect you. Right. So there's this whole thing with Taurus, which Michelle can relate to because she's a Pisces. And the last soul session I did for April was Pisces. And you guys' entire soul session was about past life karma. Don't you love it?
Can you leave me alone?
Right? Seriously. So think about how crazy that is. The last sign that I did was Pisces. You guys' entire soul session was about past life karma. Taurus, the first sign that I do for May, their entire soul session is about past life karma.
Can't get away.
You cannot run away from it. But the dope thing about it,
you literally die.
Right?
You can't get away.
Legit.
Literally die.
Like how
you're still plagued by
like
it.
I am in a grave somewhere.
How's that?
And I'm
fair?
bones. And I'm in a whole nother body. And I still can't get away from it. Like, what are we doing?
Answering for your stuff. Why?
Right?
I'm dead.
Like, let me just die.
Damn it.
And Spirit is all like, you sure? You really want to die?
We just
do you want to cease to exist? Like, is that what you want? And it's like, well, I mean, I ain't say all that, but I mean, like, but dude, legit. So this week is important. So I think everything that it is that we discuss, because, I'm going to stop like channeling, ranting, but like Saturday is going to be a turning point for everyone. And Michelle, you already know this. Like, you remember the dream that I had years ago with like when I was at the crossroads.
Oh, we have so many. Oh,
right? Like there's so many of them. Like dude.
What one? What catalog?
Right, like which one? But it's like
ABC.
Right? Like that red crossroads that I was at.
Yes.
It's like that's where we're at. The whole entire collective is at this crossroads where
have to put bone on now. You literally have to put bone in here now. Boom, 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 boom.
Boom, 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 boom. Like, I'm so gonna edit that in. Boom, 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 boom. Because I get 2.5 seconds on YouTube before they copyright strike me.
There you go.
I'm gonna miss everybody.
I'm gonna miss that. That's part of the song I know. I'm gonna miss everybody.
I'm gonna miss everybody.
What is
my
the
Uncle Charles, y'all. Like that.
Exactly. That's
every time I sing that song, dude, it's gibberish. I have no idea. There's a couple of words. There's a couple of words that I know. It's like it's just Uncle Charles and we pray. We pray.
We have to pray. I know the pray part too. Every day. Right. I know that part too.
That's it.
When you get loud. That's when you get loud.
Right.
Then the rest you go back down again.
That's real. Oh my gosh, come through, Bone Thugs. Shout out to Busy Bone,
right?
Because you're hot.
What the hell you were saying?
I was like in love with Busy Bone like forever. Oh, I was just like, that's my husband. I just want to play in his hair.
Oh yeah, they did have pretty hair.
Mm-hmm. But girl, legit, this is the last thing that I'm gonna say before we move into when do you tell a guy that you have gifts? Is literally we're wrapping up a 7-year cycle. This 7-year cycle starts in 2016, and. Yeah, it's the word. I know.
Somebody came back into my life around that time.
Let me tell you something. Because you know the woke book, you know the 2020 woke book. Like literally, I was in session, and I be trying not to be psychic in my sessions, right? Because you know I got like 3 different types of sessions.
But please turn it off.
Like I have sessions where I'm a therapist, which is where I tell my guys, hey, I'm about to be a therapist. I need y'all to shut the fuck up because I'm trying to be a professional.
But they don't listen.
They don't be listening. And they only be talking for my clients who are woke too. Like it's just my woke client. One of my clients, their guides threw a chunkla at me. In session, like, because I kept getting messages and I was like, I'm a therapist right now. I am not the woke therapist. I am just the therapist, right?
We're not doing this. Like,
and I said, dude, there's like this thing. I said, it's almost like it felt like this thing, like it was like swirling and it like hit me in the back of the head. And I got this whole message and she bust out laughing. And she said, that was a chancla.
That's the flying shoe or the
flip-flop, I like to call it. They threw a chancla at me. Tell your guys to calm down, mom, because we're not doing this today. So she's like crying, laughing.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Is that
right? Dog, she was crying. She was like, that's my guys. I was like, I hate your guys, right? Like, y'all just gonna throw a shoe at me, like.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. I literally was reading from the woke book, and because my guys were like, get the woke book, and thank God. I wasn't like in, a professional top and like pajama pants at the bottom, which is what I usually do. I had on real clothes. So I was able to get up and go across the room and get the 2020 woke book. And when I opened up 2016 and read it, I got chills. Because the main message of 2016, which is the start of the 7-year cycle that everyone is either going to repeat for the next 7 years, which would be until 2029, in case you were wondering. Oh, Lord. Yeah, that's a long time. 2029, that makes me feel old. I feel like I'm gonna have more gray hairs than I have now, but that's neither here nor there. But from 2016, the last paragraph that I said in that channeling about that year was that in December 2016, the trumpet sounded.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah. And you knew the truth. And the biggest challenge of that year is you figuring out why what you knew in 2016, it took you to go through in 2019 to realize that you've known this since 2016 and asking yourself why it took you from 2016 to 2019 to act on what you knew in 2016. Yeah. So
got some explaining to do.
Hello. So when it comes to us coming into this year, it's like the little crossroads of, what is that? Is it the 30th? It's the 30th. That's Friday. Saturday. No, Sunday. No, Saturday. What's the date for Saturday?
Let me see.
I feel sorry. I feel like I need to like post this earlier because everyone's going to be like, I have 24 hours.
It's 30th. It's the 30th.
It's the 30th? Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's the 30th?
It's the 30th, yeah. So the eclipse is on the 30th. So everyone's going to hear this on the 29th. So that's just my due diligence as a psychic lady who knows stuff and things. And I'm telling you that because y'all are going to hear this on Friday.
Surprise.
Surprise. Poof, pow, surprise.
Get ready.
You know what I'm saying? So think about your life from 2016 all the way up until the month of April in 2022. Make a timeline about it. Think about what it is that was positive and negative, because you have the opportunity to either repeat this same 7-year cycle for the next 7 years, or to completely recreate your life. Yeah, ain't nobody trying to repeat that.
No.
Like, child, look, let me tell you. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
What I've been through in the last 7 years, no, thank you. Like,
full divorce, right?
Girl, look. My divorce was before the last 7 years, but I feel you. Like, ain't nobody trying to do that. Like, no, ma'am.
Oh my God.
The people that I've dated in the last 7 years, gross. Like, no, I don't want to do that again. I can tell you that. Which is why my professional segue is, when do you tell a guy that you have gifts? So for all of you who are on our stilo, because this is where all of this aligns, is anyone for the last 7 years, if your dating life has not been what you wanted it to be, right? And you're trying to turn over a new leaf on the eclipse. It's like, you know, with solar eclipses, what's going to be eclipsed out of your life is going to be some stuff that you're fully aware of. So it's going to be in front of your face. So if a tower could fall, if you could be delivered from anything, right? Which I would like to think that everyone that listens to us is like, girl, let me just like close that chapter, put a period at the end of the sentence. Right? Let's do some new stuff. So all of you out there listening, you have spiritual gifts and stuff. It's like, when do you tell a guy? So co-host Mimi.
Yes.
What's your take on it? Because we're going to give our take on it first. Unbiased. When do you think that you should tell a guy that you have gifts? And it doesn't matter like if it's psychic mediumship, if it's psychicness, if it's like, you know, clairsentience, claircognizance, like any of the clairs. It's like, when do you think that you should tell someone?
Yeah. So in my experience, I'm just going to be transparent because that's what I do. Mine has always been accidental. Like, I will be talking or I'll say something. They're like, hold up, how do you know that? It's always accidental. There's never I need to talk to you about something. It's going to, you know, it always like something blurts out like, you know, your kid's pregnant, right? What?
Oh my God.
Or like, you know, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. That person's passed over. You know, how do you know that? And you're like, so what had happened was when I was born. So, yeah. So mine has always been accidental. Or, yeah, go ahead and apply for that job. Or, is this your third time applying for it? Yeah, then you're going to get it. And then they get it. And then, how did you know? So it's really a situation of, it's always been accidental. And then once it comes up or it happens too often, they start to question it. Like, first of all, are you stalking me in some weird way that I'm not aware of? And it's not that. Maybe spiritually stalking. I'm joking. I don't do that. But
we don't do that.
Any potential mates out there, I don't do that.
We don't do that. We don't do that at all.
Not at all. What?
No.
So after that comes up, and then now before I was out of the spiritual closet, I would just always keep it to myself. I would never say anything. But then once I got married, like I said, it is so much a part of who I am that it gets noticed. So first it gets noticed. And then once it gets noticed to the point where it starts to get questioned with the how did you know that? Or how were you aware of that? Then I go into, this might be unsettling or off-putting, but, you know, I do have I call them a special set of skills. That's my go-to. Like, you'll hear me say that anywhere. I have a special set of skills. And they're usually thinking it's my previous life when I was in the military, which that is another special set of skills.
Special ops. But security clearance.
Intel is spiritual intel, right? So it's like, and once they'll laugh and they're like, ha ha, what is it? And I'm like, I see dead people.
By the way.
Just what do you want for dinner? And then it's either you get a blank stare, you get a smart remark, and it really depends on the person. But what I will say is I kind of have an idea of how that person's going to be before I even go into that conversation. Because I know for me, I would not be a good match for somebody who is so very in dogma and in the church to the point where everything beyond that is satanic.
Ew.
I'm never going to be a good match for that person because they're going to look at me as such. You know what I'm saying? So I already kind of make sure who I'm with is already open-minded to that aspect. Not saying it's an easy sell.
Right.
The last guy, it's always like, oh, so you're a witch?
Oh my God. Gross.
Like, can we kind of open our mind much bigger? And then once I get really comfortable, I drop the big bomb where everybody's talking about UFOs. Guess what? Where are the aliens?
Thank you. Hashtag Starseed.
And they're like, you know what? You're really doing too much. And I'm like,
right?
I'm just trying to tell you. We're going about it all wrong. We can't get to the stars and the ships. You got to go with your consciousness. Yeah. I don't want to hear that shit. Right?
Dude.
Walk around with a tin hat on your head around the house. Surprise!
I'm getting a message.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that's so
weird. It's always been accidental. I've never sat somebody down and said, look, we need to have a conversation. It's always been, how'd you know that? And
yeah. I can agree with that. Because it's like, I don't know, like I feel like I don't have much in God, I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud, but like I haven't had like buku dating experience per se since I got divorced. You know what I mean? It's like I think before I got married, like I was out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I lived my life and, as a young person, I don't know. It's like, I think I lived in the moment when I was young. So it's like, how most girls, like when I was like a little girl, I was just like, and God, I'm really saying this out loud. When people used to ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I was like, I want to be a wife and a mom.
That's adorable. I said an astronaut, which just tells me I was always trying to get off the planet.
But that's I respect your mind because at least you had a job title. Wife and mom is not a job title. Like,
girl, that's the hardest job I've ever had.
Right? Like little bit, it's like I need to be a wife and a mom. Right? So it's like
literally kicking my ass right now.
Right, dude. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed of my younger self. But that's literally like how I looked at stuff. And it's like we talk about the spiritual closet, like being, preacher's kid, like, I was raised Catholic, and it was kind of like an in-between kind of thing. Cause it's like, back in the day, like when my parents got married at the time, when you were Catholic, you couldn't marry someone who wasn't Catholic.
Right.
So my dad had to convert in order to marry my mom. And my dad was like Southern Baptist, right?
Oh, wow. That had to be a
Southern Baptist girl. Southern Baptist.
Did her.
Yes, he really loved her child, So my dad converted to Catholicism. Yeah, dude. And it's not like I tell people all the time, like being raised Catholic, like to become a Catholic as an adult is like, what are you even doing? Right. Because we're indoctrinated from like birth. Right. So
right out the yes, from birth.
Like to learn all of that as an adult is just like information overload. But my dad loved my mom so much.
I couldn't get married. I wouldn't been able to do it because it's so much.
Right.
And the fact that we were both raised Catholic, we're both African American, we both are INFJs and both have this gift.
Yes.
That is not a coincidence, dude.
Dude, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Weird.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't learn all that as an adult.
We like twin flames or something, girl.
I know, right? Heart shapes, hearts. But that's so much stuff.
It is.
Like you said, we are getting smashed with this stuff from birth.
Yes, dude. Like indoctrinated straight out the womb. Like
classes.
You've been out the womb for like 3 days. They putting a little shell on your head.
Yep.
Baptizing you over the little baptismal, because we ain't have baptismal pools. Like, the
That
Protestants
was
got.
a point of contention when I got married because sprinkle, that's not baptized. You just got sprinkled on the head.
So you just want me to go underwater? You want me to go my whole head underwater? Okay.
I was like, you have no idea what I had to go through for that. You have no idea.
Legit. And I like, that's why I'm just like, dude, my dad, like, and especially like now, like, because, you know, my parents got divorced and my dad's a preacher now in the Southern Baptist Church, right? So the fact that my parents got divorced and my dad went back to like his religion, I'm just like, damn, dude, like you really took like a whole sacrifice, like to learn, like he learned everything. Cause you know, you have to go through like all the sacraments. Yes. Like if you convert to Catholicism, like you got to do the baptism. So you're going to be a grown ass person leaning over the little marble, little pool. They're going to put the little shell on your head. You got to do reconciliation. You got to do communion, your first communion. You got to do confirmation.
That's crazy.
Ain't that crazy?
That's some love right there.
Right. It's like, dude.
Like, I'm sorry, honey.
But after that, they changed it to where a person doesn't have to convert. I think Judaism, I don't know about Islam, but I know Judaism is the only religion that still makes the person you marry, like they have to convert. But Catholicism stopped that, I think, like in, was it the 90s? I think like in the 90s is when Catholicism stopped that. But it's like my dad totally converted from my mom. So it's like I was raised Catholic. My brother was raised Catholic. All of us were devout Catholics. Like I'm a confirmed Catholic. Anyone who wants to know, my confirmation name is St. Joan of Arc. Just throwing it out there. But it's like, but looking at all of that, and like when I was like 12, right? That's when, you know, when my parents got divorced. And my mom ended up becoming like non-denominational. And there was like this whole like switch. And, you know, I was just all like, you know, Jesus, like I could have a personal relationship with you. Mm-hmm. And that's when everything switched for me. Because it was like personal relationships. So I ain't got to go through none of the saints. I ain't got to, okay, let me go down to the altar. Like that's my whole history. But it's like, that's my whole past life. When I start getting into gifts and stuff, I didn't get into my gifts being recognized until I became non-denominational. Like my gifts weren't recognized in the Catholic Church. With me, and I talked about that a little bit on the last podcast, with the whole prophetic term, it's just like, oh, so like it's normal for me to know stuff. Like as a Catholic, it's not normal for me to know stuff that other people don't know, right? But in the non-denominational church, it's like, oh, so this is like a thing and it's not evil. Oh, okay. Like we here for that. But it's like all that leads into like me being married or whatever. I don't have very much dating experience after my ex-husband, but the dating experience I do have, it's like, it's people who kind of already knew I was psychic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I never really had to like break it to someone where it's like, hey, so by the way, right? Like, so I have this whole YouTube channel where I like tell people things about their life before it happens. Like, I've never had to do that just yet. So I think for me, like, I think the difference between you and I, like, I love that for you, it's like accidental. I would hope that that's because maybe I can consider the fact that like I have a YouTube that's all like psychic shit, that's like accidental. I couldn't fathom like, you know, swiping right on someone on Tinder and like meeting a dude and being like, oh, we like each other, da, da, da. And being like, so by the way, like when that question comes up, like, what do you do for a living? I can just be like, oh, I'm a therapist.
But go ahead and check out this website.
Right. And I'm always like, so if I just said I was a therapist and I'm just like, you know, and I mentioned something in passing about YouTube, it's like, oh, what's your YouTube channel? Scratches the back of the neck.
Like, oh, you found it?
You know what I'm saying? I've never been in that position as of yet, which like I feel for me is like slightly terrifying, but I think, I don't know, maybe it's a Taurus comfort zone kind of thing. Cause it's like, I would rather somebody know, like, I think, okay, if I were to like project into the future, like if I were to meet someone that does not know me at all, I would be like, so here's my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that would be the fastest way, like for you, because it's so abundant. You have such a large catalog available. Like for me, I pulled all my stuff off of YouTube because I was led to do so. There was an energy for me specifically where when I do mass things, the energetic hit for me is draining. Like I literally, it was not something I enjoyed doing. And then I was just led to do it because I didn't want to have the responsibility of people making life decisions off of things I'm saying, especially when it might not necessarily even be for them. So if somebody did find my stuff, it would be more of, hey, think about this. Hey, it's kind of stretching the thought process. Some if you found my the videos that I did leave up.
Yeah.
But I have never, it just hasn't been something where, and there might be people listening who are like, oh, I tell them straight off the bat, this is blah, blah, blah.
I'm psychic, bitch.
Yeah. Like, it's just something that I kind of just, I have to observe the person first and see how they are. And
I agree.
Because what I don't want to do is somebody, you think you know somebody and then this stuff comes out and now they're calling you every demonic thing that they can. And it's like,
girl, yes.
You know what? You're not anything who I thought you were. So it's really for me, when I'm seeking is being intentional about the open-mindedness. I would never be able to be with somebody who's closed-minded.
Oh,
so
God,
it's kind of just being intentional with seeking out as a preference, but somebody being open-minded because they're going to have to be. Like we've made jokes about whomever does partner up with us, they're going to have to be some strong behind dudes.
I agree. I agree, dude. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I always said, like which is the reason why, like, I don't get too upset, like when relationships don't work out. And this is going to sound arrogant as fuck, but it's like, the energy signature of my person, right? I felt it years ago. And my perception of him is like, he is amazing, and not in the fact of what he does for a living or who he is, but it's just in the fact of like me loving myself and him loving me as much as I love myself is what it is that makes that connection. And for someone like, because it's like, I know I'm not a perfect human being. It's like I'm not 110% easy to tolerate. You know what I mean?
I know,
but it's like somebody, right? Like someone who embraces me for all that I am and thinks that everything that I am, even my imperfections, are beautiful. That's to me what makes a dude strong. So it's like, I feel like my whole dating life, like every relationship that hasn't worked out, it's like, granted, you know, you're sad, you lick your little wounds and you're like, I feel like this could have been something. Like you feel like that, but it's like you get over it because it's like one thing I say confidently, one thing I will never, ever feel. I've never felt that. And I can say confidently for the rest of my life, something I'll never feel. The one that got away is something I will never experience.
Right.
Never. Like if you got away from me, then you just were not the right person, because it's like, how could that ever happen? You know what I mean? It's like, I feel every human being that knows me, every human being that knows you too, because I got to throw you in here too, girl. It's like any human being that knows us, it's like we're pretty much open books enough to where, you know, what we desire, our expectations, who we are, like, you know, what's great about us, like the flaws that we have, like we're very open about that and there's no shame about it. So if ever a person falls by the wayside, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, you just weren't equipped. So that's like how you say, like the strong man, like he would literally have to be strong. And if someone can't live up to it, if someone misses the opportunity, like misconstrues who or what we are, like if a person is turned off by our gifts, like that's less of our problem and more of theirs.
Right.
Legit.
If you can't handle it, if you can't take the heat.
Yeah. You know, get out the sandbox.
Like
go play with the builder blocks, not the Legos.
Like, look, if the tables were turned, let me find the dude who can do all this. I'd be like,
girl, look, that's what I'm saying.
I don't even gotta like you, but you about to put me onto some information.
This is the thing that's crazy. Like, I feel like, dude, and there's one guy that I literally came across his channel like a few weeks ago on YouTube, and like it came up in my suggestions, and I was like, who is this? I was like, this is a tarot reader I've never heard of, but it's a guy. I listened to his readings and I was like, oh my goodness, you think like us, sir, hello, right? And I feel like if there's more dudes like that in the world, like chicks, oh my God, like a chick who is spiritually aware,
Right.
if they were aware that there's more dudes in the world like this, which is why I think YouTube is so dope. It's like if you could find someone that's like you, it's like you would just mob him like, hey,
right?
Spirit told me, and he's like, Spirit told me that too. It's like, what? You had to drink. I had to drink. Oh shit. Right. Like, dude. And that's what leads me into my next question is, do you feel that revealing you have gifts or even like that whole discussion is more difficult for people in the Black community to do?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll speak specifically to Southern Black community.
South of the Mason-Dixon, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. And hey, I'll go even further. I'm Georgia.
Hello. South Carolina.
Like, yeah.
North Carolina.
I'm talking about
Virginia.
There's a very strong line.
Mm-hmm.
And you're either on one side or the other.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm either on the side of, yeah, there's something more, and I'm okay with that, or you're on the other side of anything other than what I understand and been taught and know is the devil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no gray areas.
Yeah.
You're the devil. You know what I'm
Period.
saying?
Period.
Like,
Period.
Period. At the end of the sentence, you can't explain. You can't give more information. Like, an individual I used to talk to was like, I couldn't bring her around my dad. The first thing they're going to be asking me is who's the witch. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Okay, like, I know, right? Freaking asshole. But
goddamn witches. The fuck.
Like, and those are the jokes we have to really put up with.
Yeah.
But it's like, he was joking, but he was serious. Because he's from the deep South, grew up in the church. And it's like, there's no gray area. You know, it's like, you either are accepted or you're the devil.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
There's certain dudes that won't eat from you, girl. And yeah, like legit, I'm serious. Like, especially in New Orleans, dog, like the two things, because you already know about the red gravy thing. Like, every dude who's from New Orleans will not eat no etouffee. They're not about to eat no spaghetti. Like, they're not going to eat nothing that's red, right? No crawfish bisque, none of that, because that's all made with red gravy, right?
Right.
But there's still things like gumbo. Like, dudes won't eat gumbo from you. It's like, it just because it's the thought of, and I can't say like for how it is with you guys, but it's like down here, our parents kind of drill into us like, you don't eat from everybody because it's, and the reason for that, is the thought that people are putting work in the food.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, what I've experienced is there's people like throughout the course of my life who, because, you know, I love cooking. So there's people who've eaten from me throughout the course of my life. But the second that they found out that I became the quote unquote woke therapist when I came out the spiritual closet, where it's just like, oh no, you not eat already.
And that's crazy. Like, dude, I don't got time to be doing all that.
Don't nobody care about you that much. Like,
I have other ways.
Right. Thank you. Look, I could astro travel to your house, first of all. One thing about it is two things for sure, B. Ain't nobody got to do all that. And that's the thing I think people misunderstand about us is like, I think the biggest misconception that people have about us is the thought that you not understanding like who we are, what it is that we really do. Because especially like in New Orleans, though, like when people understand like conjure work and candle burning and hexes, whatever, it's like, and look, y'all could quote me on this and feel a way about it. But I feel like people who are doing manipulative candle burning and hex work, that's weak ass bitches, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, first of all, bitch,
so many other things.
If a dude don't want you, bitch, let him go. Let him go. Yeah. Like, don't go bury him in the graveyard. Don't get no voodoo doll. Don't light no candles. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. Because truth be told, it's like, and I say this to any woman that's listening. If you've ever been so enthralled with a dude to the point that you've ever wanted to contact a conjure worker to light a candle or do like whatever, right? It's like, if he don't want you, he just doesn't want you. Like, don't even put yourself through that, because I feel every woman deserves, like I was saying before,
towards them.
Right. Yeah. It's like, if you love yourself, you want someone who loves you as much as you love you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And if a person doesn't love you as much as you love you, then like, fuck them.
Right. And
like,
there's a reason.
Kill yourself.
There's a reason why they don't. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why they don't. And you need to release it, because at the end of the day, forcing something that's not meant for you or is not a part of your journey, it's throwing you way off.
Right. And girl, would you really want to be trapped in a prison with a dude that you don't like and you got to wake up next to him every day like, ugh.
Every day.
Your pee-pee little.
Oh, God.
Your pee-pee can't get hard.
That's sad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a sleep apnea machine. Ew.
It's okay, you dudes with the sleep. I kind of like dudes like that.
So. No disregard to y'all. I'm talking about the young lady. If you about 25, you know what I'm saying? Because we old bitches, okay? Oh, if you about 25, you don't need to be with nobody with no sleep apnea machine. Baby.
I'll clean it for you. Come on, honey.
Right. You know what I'm saying? We gonna clean it out because we old bitches. You know what I'm saying? But if you're 25, mama, leave him alone.
The body is breaking down.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as we grow, they grow. As they mature, we mature. So you could be like, you know, I can only do it 2 times a week. And we like, okay. We like, okay. We okay. At least it's 2. You know? But if you're 25, mom, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. And I say this all the time to young ladies. And girl, look, I already said this podcast, I'm going to be 110% honest, because with my channel, everything else that it is that I do, I can be, but I'm just being honest. If you are under the age of 30 and you're a female and you don't have no churn, stay away from men that have children.
She said it.
Period. I don't know if you agree with me, Michelle. You ain't got to. Just saying. Do not. Like, I feel like a young woman that has no children, the last thing that you ever possibly want is baby mama drama, especially if you got gifts, mom, because it's just going to be a whole ordeal. You're going to be picking up on her energy. She's going to start showing up in your dreams. You know what I'm saying? You don't need all that. Listen to your friend Marlowe. Whew. We might have to edit that out. I'm just being honest.
No. But I agree with you really need to pick, you got to pick and choose your poison. And it's a situation of, if you do go into that situation and you do have to deal with picking up other people's energy, it's definitely something you want to have to consider, because you have to block ground, whatever. I know for me, I will pick up other people's energy. I will pick up, it's a part of the gift that you really have to work on developing a skill to keep your energy sphere clear as much as possible. Absolutely. And if you're like in your 20s and whatnot, I'm not saying you can or you're not, but sometimes that takes some time to learn.
Yeah, you're in a working stage.
Yeah.
You're in a working stage. And it's like, and that's the thing I say too, dude. It's like, even though we're talking about sharing our gifts, it's one thing I feel like is like a public service announcement of all of this, is to every woman that's listening that has spiritual gifts, you need to be aware. And this is, Michelle, this is something that me and you both know very well. You have to be aware of, especially like if you're like a light worker, my God, the thing, or starseed, Jesus Christ, that's even worse. I mean, it's better, but it's worse at the same time. But it's like you, and I mean, empaths, I'm not even saying this in a tier system of making anyone better or worse. It's like, we just have different functions. It's like empaths, like, wait, let me do public service announcement. I need to like put the bum, 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 sound effect right there. It's like, attention, all empaths, light workers, and starseeds. The thing with us of how it is that we function, we have the ability to see all human beings, quote unquote human beings, potential. We can see people's potential easily. even if a person can't see it themselves. You can look at a person and you can see what business they could start, what profession they could go into, what degree they could get, like how much money they could make, how they could transform their entire family lineage. We can see all of that.
All of it.
Yes. And it's similar to what women naturally do, because as women, you know, we're supporters, right? Mm-hmm. So as a woman, right, if you had no gifts, it's like you can see potential in someone and you want to tease it out. Even if you're toxic and you're like a codependent fixer, you can see potential in someone and want to tease it out. But if you're listening to this and you identify yourself as an empath, a light worker, or a starseed, we supersede all of that. And we can truly innately see the soul signature, the blueprint of every single person that we meet, male or female. And whatever it is that you're into, if there's a person that you're romantically interested in, you're going to see those things. But I feel the biggest message is we have to understand that what we do for our clients, what we see like in our students, you cannot attribute that to relationships. You can't, because we see it clear as day, almost as if you think about a person who's like, where are my glasses? And you see that their glasses are on their head.
Right.
That's what it's like, what we see in other people.
It's so annoying.
Yeah. And we can easily say to a regular person, just like, your glasses are on your head. And it's like, oh my God, I do that all the time. Oh my God.
Right.
Right. But it's like when it comes to people like romantically, it doesn't work the same. You could see all of the potential in the world in a person, but it's like if they don't see it in themselves, it's neither here nor there. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where, like, and you said that before, Michelle, like the gifts that we have is a blessing and it's a curse. The curse side of it is the fact that you could look at a person and you can see everything that's possible for them. That's not even related to you. Like you can see their gifts, their talents, like what could be for them for the next 10 years. But it's like telling it to that person is neither here nor there if they don't see it first. So it's like, I feel like the whole process we go through of like awakening is you learning how to, like how you were saying in the beginning, it's like kind of finagling it a little bit without directly saying like, so, hey, you know, it's like we learn over time to do that.
For that job right there. Yeah.
Right. It's like you learn how to say stuff like that. It's like, you should apply for that job. I don't know. I just have a feeling. I have a little niggle.
There you go. That gut. I got a hunch.
Got a little hunch.
I have a hunch it's going to work out.
Right. And it's almost like you have to do that. So, dude, the crazy thing about it is it's like, I think about it, if you were to answer the question we posed in this podcast, it's like, there is no right or wrong time. But I feel like from experience, especially with us, like we're like OG bitches in this shit. Like, it's like you learn over time of like, unless a person is overtly like us, where he's just like, oh, you know, I've been psychic since I was like 7 and like I saved my pawpaw from drowning that one time. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless a dude is coming at you like that, if he's the term that I use, if he's a normie, like, it's like you have to kind of, you know, feel your way through it.
You also need to be prepared for what comes next.
Oh, God.
Because even after having the conversation, there has to be an adjustment time for that person, because you have gotten used to your gifts. You're using them. It's a part of you.
Second
but for
nature.
that individual, and here we go into the therapy piece, right? For that individual, this is their first time. It might be their first time even experiencing this whole experience, right?
Yeah.
So, and now they're looking at you in a different way. So it's really, and then they're going to have questions like, well, can you do this? And can you do this? And what about this? And there really has to be some time that's allowed for this individual to get used to the new you, because you're really a different person than what they have come to know, because you have a whole new set of gifts, and when they don't understand it, they could be filling in the blanks on their own. So really allow communication, allow space, allow time for them to get settled and say, wow, I'm married, or I'm with, hopefully you guys had the conversation.
I hope you had the conversation. We all got married.
somebody who freaking can see the freaking future. It's like a whole Marvel character right now. So you want to allow that time, allow that space. And if the person does respond in a way that you were not expecting or doesn't feel good, you need to have that conversation as well. Like for me, when the jokes about witch kept coming, I was like, look, that's going to have to stop. Like really, like I literally have a podcast that says, don't call me a witch.
Thank you.
It's not because of anything other than that term was used against me when I was young.
Yeah.
So it has a negative connotation for me.
Absolutely.
It's really abusive for me when people use it in that way. So I had to say that, like, don't do that. Like, it bothers me. So what you don't want to do is allow people to make jokes on your behalf because they don't understand what this is. The burden is heavy enough. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
So the person who's closest to you in relationships should be there for support and to assist and to really learn. Because at the end of the day, we're all teachers.
Yeah, dude.
Teachers.
Students and teachers simultaneously. And the thing I heard while you were talking was Queen Latifah, don't call me a bitch. But it was like, don't call me a witch.
Now you're gonna have to put that song on there too.
Real shit, dude. Legit. That's real. That's so real. And that's the thing I have to say, dude. It's like everything I heard from what you said is summing it up into like, gross. I'm going to use like a manosphere word, which is like vetting. And it's like, and I feel like, dude, like that's the reason why I'm so obsessed with the manosphere. Like, that's my confession. I'm obsessed with the manosphere because I find the manosphere to be so intriguing, like red pill, men going their own way, all of that stuff. I find them to be so
sorry, I just threw up a little bit in my mouth.
I know. They're fucking gross, right? Like everyone in the manosphere, red pill, and men going their own way are fucking gross. Like, let's just be honest. But it's the fact that they're a distorted energy signature. Like, that's what I know. It's like the reason why I'm obsessed with it is because I'm like, y'all are operating on a vibrational frequency that really exists in the ethereal, but you've distorted it. So it's kind of like the equivalent of that would be, and everyone can relate to this. It's like, we talk about karmic cycles, right? So there's certain stuff we go through, like just like what we said in the beginning, like there's a 7-year karmic cycle all of us are coming out of. The way that you know you're in a karmic cycle is you keep repeating the same stuff over and over again, meaning you feel almost as if you're meeting the same person in a different body, whether that's romantically, that's with a job, whatever, right? And I feel with the manosphere, there are people who have repeatedly met the same people over and over again.
Over and over.
Yeah, that are 9 times out of 10 their mother, just being honest. Because there's not one dude in the manosphere that has an amazing relationship with his mom. Like, let's just be honest. Like, if you interviewed any one of them, all of them have a very strained relationship with their mother. They may love their dad, but they have a very strained relationship with their mom. But that's like a key sign of the fact that like you missed the karmic lesson. So you're repeating your unfinished business with your mother with all of the women that you deal with, which created this whole construct, right? But it's like, I feel all of us are guilty of falling into something like that. But it's like, I listen to them because I feel like they can give me insight into things that I don't know, because I'm not a dude. I don't have a penis.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know what it's like to be a dude, not in this particular incarnation, but I feel like we can learn a little bit.
Another topic.
That's a whole nother topic. We may talk about that later. But I feel like it's something we can learn from everyone. And I feel even with them, like people can say that the manosphere is like toxic and this and that or whatever, but you have to know how to intake information, because it's like, even from the most negative people, if we were to talk about like Aleister Crowley, right? Like there's something to be learned even from Aleister Crowley. There's something to be learned from, I'm not even going to say that because I feel like we would get canceled if I said that. Those of you who are intuitive, you heard the name in your spirit. You knew what I was about to say, but I'm not going to say it. So because this video would not be on YouTube if I said it. But it's like, it's something to be learned from every person, because each and every one of us are aspects and parts of each other. And I feel in the bigger picture of things, if we were to sit back and really understand people as opposed to being on our high horses or our soapboxes of what we think is right or wrong, we could learn a great deal. And that's whether even, because what I'm hearing in my spirit, because they got a dude that's listening to this right now. It's a dude with intuitive gifts. Hey, dude.
Are you cute? Are you single? I'm joking. I'm joking.
Right? There's a dude who's listening to this right now, and it's like what I'm hearing, he's not subscribed to me or you, like never heard of your podcast, never heard of my channel. And this is like one of those things that just happened upon his YouTube algorithm. And we've been speaking from a female perspective this entire time. And he's held through up until this particular moment, like switching what we're saying about women to his perspective as a man, because he's a heterosexual male who likes women. And he's used to that. He's used to being disregarded with listening to spiritual content because he's used to him not being recognized. And he just feels like that's a part of it. Mm-hmm. And it's like what my guides are like telling me is to like acknowledge him because he's listened to this entire podcast, switching stuff in his mind to help it align with him because he's used to that. So, and what I'm gathering from that, this would be someone who listens to tarot readings and like, you know, and most spiritual content is geared towards women, even if it's a dude,
right?
They're gearing it towards women. Right. And I have to tell you, sweet, precious child, it's like you're being called to stand up because like something I can say as a spiritual teacher is something that's lacking in the spiritual community is men.
Yes.
That are speaking to other men. And it's like, there's so many other men that need a man that's an example. And that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Like, girl, this is about to be a whole message, child.
Let's do it.
Like I was speaking about the manosphere, the call on this particular person's life is to be like what men are in the manosphere. In the manosphere, there's men who are speaking to the weakness that all these men who subscribe to these channels have, but it's like that weakness comes from a point of pain, but it's not truly a weakness. Like that's your deliverance point. Mm-hmm. So that's your transformational point. So even going back to what we said in the beginning about what April 30th is about with the eclipse, you're at this crossroads. You can choose to be a weak ass bitch, or you can choose to ascend to a higher state of being. And whoever this dude is that's listening to this, and I have to stress, email me, email Michelle, like go on the website, send us a message, like whatever, because if her and I need to pour into you, like we're totally here for it. Legit. Because like, dude, I see this dude so clearly. It's like, he is like a change agent. I'm not even joking. Like, this is all me channeling this. This dude is like a change agent. But, and this is like no disrespect to anyone, but this is just what it is I'm hearing from my guides. It's like, he's a heterosexual male and he feels torn in between because, oh, Jesus Christ, this is getting really real. Jesus.
I feel like I'm in church. Go ahead, honey.
Right? It's like,
go ahead. Wait,
I am seeing and hearing so much stuff. Like, and that's so funny because I was like, why did we go off on a whole manosphere tangent? Like this particular dude, he listens to both of the content. He watches tarot readings and he listens to manosphere content. And him listening to stuff in the manosphere, it resonates because it's like, and what I know about the manosphere, what I can say from what I've learned is like men in the manosphere are trying to empower men to not be disempowered to women who are operating in their masculine, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Because if a woman is operating in her masculine, that's not healthy. That's not normal. That's abnormal, right?
Right.
Because you're trying to domineer a dude. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And this has nothing to do with like a woman submitting to dude in like a fucking dysfunctional way and a dude being like, right? It's like the Bible talks about dual submission. So a husband is supposed to submit to his wife as the wife submits to the husband. Like that's the natural way of things. Like that's that 100-100. That's not 80-20. That's not 50-50. That's 100-100. That's the healthy way relationships are supposed to operate. Right. But this particular dude, he's torn in between the two. Like he hears the stuff that he hears in the manosphere and it makes sense to him. But he hears the stuff that he hears in our realm of things and that makes sense to him. And he's trying to figure out how do you balance the two. And my brother, whoever you are, how you make sense between the two is something that you may not yet understand, is something I say on my channel all the time. It's the Likert scale. It's like you can go all the way to the left. If you think about a number line that we learned in school, you can go from 0 to -1 all the way to -10. You can go from 0 to 1 to 10. And you've learned both sides. and I'm just going to be an asshole, and say that the manosphere is -1 to -10.
Oh boy.
And all of the like spiritual stuff you've heard is 1 to 10. That's just me being an asshole. Pay no mind to me. You can switch them up if you want, but that's just me being an asshole. But the key is when you go from 1 to 10, the purpose, and if I were to talk about tarot, this would be what the temperance card is about. When you come back to 0 from both sides, the purpose of that is for you to transcend that timeline. So that means that there is a state of awareness and knowledge that you're not yet aware of that does exist. And I have to tell you, period, at the end of the sentence, it does exist. Mm-hmm. So you're caught at this crossroads. You're going back and forth in your mind because the manosphere makes sense. Spirituality makes sense. And it's like both of them make you feel less than, because all spirituality stuff is spoken to women. All manosphere stuff is spoken to men. And it's not saying that you're any less of a man. It doesn't take away your masculinity. It just means that you have the opportunity to be a hybrid, right? And I know you said it before, Michelle, you talked about a Sigma male on our old podcast.
Yes.
It's like,
if there's any listening, I'm just
look, me and Michelle out here like, dear Sigma male. I need to write a poem about that. Dear Sigma male.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a blog post. That sounds like a blog post.
Dear Sigma male. Right?
How are you? Oh my God.
Yes. And it's like, dude, and to make whoever this is that this message is for, if I were to make you feel better, like, because I know that there's all kinds of jargon on YouTube about Sigma males. The podcast Michelle and I did years ago, I called it an alpha and omega male. If you want that to make sense of what I'm talking about, of transcending that timeline, that's what it is. You're not a simp. You know what I'm saying? You're not. It's like you're just being called to a higher state of being. And that's why you're interested in these two things that are two polar fucking opposites of each other. And the reason why you're listening to this podcast is because it's your time for you to transcend that timeline, for you to be something and potentially a fucking leader, a fucking trailblazer that brings dudes out of these antiquated mindsets that they're in. Because there's so many things, dude. Like, even if I were to like shit on us in the spiritual community, all of these bitches that are talking about this fucking twin flame, stupid ass shit of like how a dude can leave you, be with a motherfucking karmic on some dumbass shit. That's a weak ass motherfucking bitch. Just like every single dude in the manosphere is a weak ass dude that's still fucking wounded, because if you transcend, I'm just being honest, if you transcend past your wounding, what the fuck is there to talk about?
What's there?
Like, let's just be honest. Like, dog, I film so many videos every month. I can't sit here and talk about fucking twin flames unless I was still over here fucking butthurt about a person that's my fucking twin flame. That's not. Oh, he left me and went back to his wife, and that's okay. He's fucking a bunch of bitches, and that's okay because he's just scared. Like, fuck that stupid ass shit, bitch. Like, the fuck?
No.
And dude, that's what I'm saying, dog. Like, I feel like, and Michelle, you may fucking like want to crucify me for this shit, but real talk. What we have in like connection with the manosphere, dog, if you think about that whole twin flame dynamic and you think about what every fucking dude in the manosphere is talking about, what's the difference? Other than a pussy and a dick, what's really the difference? You feel what I'm saying? What's really the difference? It's like 304s, she for the streets, simps, and all this other fucking retarded shit that they're talking about. That's no different than us and like the whole twin flame dynamic. There is no difference between that. It's just as different ways that we interpret it.
That's right.
Everyone that's listening, including the dude, I hope that you message us because I would love to know you and give you a hug. Cheers. It's like all of us are called to transcend our present state of being, dude. And the thing I love so much about this podcast, because this is my best friend, this is my bestie.
Besties in the house.
And it's like, I wanted to, like, the whole premise of this podcast, if you guys didn't know, was letting you guys in on what me and my best friend talk about. The conversation that we're having with you guys is literally no different than what her and I talk about on the phone.
All the time.
All the time, dude. Legit. And it's like, she's helping people just like I'm helping people. And this podcast is like a massive way of us helping people without you having to book a session.
Come listen. Yeah. One thing too, about the whole twin flame thing, I just want to throw out there. and why I really hardly ever use that phrase, because people have taken this concept and have used it to allow abusive behaviors.
Thanks.
And you really need to do some deep digging. I like really do not. I try not to even when I pick up a signature that relates to it, I will just explain it in a different way, because people have attached so much that's not true to that phrase. Let me tell you, I don't like it.
No, I feel you. That's why I wrote a book called Motherfuck Twin Flames.
Yes, available on Amazon. Pick it up.
That's real shit, dude. That's real.
I'm here to tell you, I don't like it.
You and I both,
not
dog.
the book. I don't like the phrase.
That's the therapist in us, dog. Like,
yeah, I know.
It's like, this shit is toxic as fuck.
It's very toxic. Jeez. And people are just like, it's okay. He can do whatever, man. He's my twin flame. Like, shut up. That is not what this is about.
Right? It is so, dude. Oh my God. That goes into like the whole thing with humanity.
I know, like, that's a whole nother topic for another.
Right. Girl, look, we might need to talk about that next time. Cause
right?
that's the thing, dude. It's like, it's conditional and unconditional love. That's literally what that speaks to. Like the reason why there's people who think that God is mad at them, or why they feel like they need to be a certain person or a certain type of way in order for God to love them. It's like you're reenacting that with every single relationship that you have. And like, as my granny used to say, that's a sin and a goddamn shame. Because God ain't on that type of shit, dude. Absolutely. But that's what we're reenacting as humans. Jesus Christ. Girl, look, that's going to be the next topic. You understand what I'm saying?
Tune in.
Yeah, I understand. So now we do our professional. Where can they find you on social media?
So you could find me in the Looking Glass. So www.thelookingglass.fans. Also, I forgot to say, I'm over there at tillgypsymoon.com as well. That's the woo-woo side.
No.
So many sides of me, like it's the Pisces fish. You got me over here and you meet me over there. I'm like slightly crazy. Or what they call Pisces, just emotional Geminis. I don't claim that.
First of all, I'm a Gemini rising with 4 12-house placements, so don't talk about me.
Yes. This is a whole bucket of crazy right here. We're just a whole.
We overflowing. We're overflowing over here. You understand me?
What you want? We don't understand. We can't. We are just, yes. If you've gone this far with us, then you are a special type of person.
I'm trying to I feel like I need to give y'all something. If y'all made it this far, like if y'all have listened to this entire thing in its entirety, like I might have to like put like a little inbox thing on like our websites and stuff. Like if ever you make it to the end of a Marlowe and MiMi podcast, you deserve something. And I'm never going to say that. I'm never going to say it publicly. But it's like, if you make it to the end of the podcast, you know, and it's going to be a special little link that you go to where you're going to get something because you deserve it. Because that means that you a real one. You know what I'm saying?
Because we talk about some stuff.
Some things.
Get off here and be scratching your head and need a whole drink.
Right? Seriously, dude.
What the hell?
Like, what did I just listen to? You just got woke, babe. You just got woke.
Wake up.
Wake up, baby. And of course, you guys know for me, like I said last week, at the Woke Therapist on everything. Wherever it is you want to find me, just put in the Woke Therapist and you'll find me. That's me everywhere. But I thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being here for a second episode. And of course, we're going to be back next week with some more stuff, which is going to be highly interesting. So we still don't know how to say goodbye yet because we haven't figured that out.
Not yet. No.
Yeah, like peace and hair grease until we figure out. Like, you guys, like, put in the comments, okay? Put in the comments how you guys think we should say goodbye.
There you go.
Do that. Yeah.
We want to hear.
But until the next time, adios, my friends.
Adios.